On November 9th, you were downtown for a big event. I want to talk a little bit about that and your Choose Love movement today. But let's talk about the event that happened. There were a lot of children. It was hosted by Bentonville Schools, and all of those children were learning and laughing, and some of them running around and having a great time. There was music and food. What was that like to experience here on the Bentonville Square?
It was absolutely incredible. I mean, this is what we think about when we think about joy and living in America. It's being together with families, really anywhere. A healthy community is one that gets together and celebrates themselves and each other, and just literally the epitome of what my goal has been, and that is to spread Jesse's message of nurturing, healing, love, have people embrace it, practice this concept of choosing love as a thoughtful response every day, and having a lot of fun is a really big part of that. And we did that just through song and dance and connection and belonging and compassion. It was just beautiful.
All of this is part of the Choose Love movement, and we have to talk about Jesse, a 6-year-old little boy. I want to know about him as a person, as a child. What was he into? What was he like?
Jesse, I love talking about him. I like to say he was born 11 pounds, so a little bit larger than life.
Yeah.
And he literally was that way his entire life. He was bouncing off the walls. He had this really, I call it like an Owen Meany voice. If you've ever read the book Owen Meany by John Irving, there's this little boy, and everything that the little boy says is in capital letters. So that's very much like Jesse. And he was just so active. We live on a little farm. And so my philosophy was, we didn't have a TV. I wanted the boys outside and playing. And if they came home at the end of the night with dirty fingernails, then they'd had a really good time. Everybody slept well at Wild Rose Farm.
And then start it all again the next day.
That's right.
A bunch more energy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
On December 14th, 2012, the nation watched as a very angry young man, walked into Sandy Hook Elementary School and gunned down 20 students, including Jesse. Jesse died as a hero, and he died saving other children. I want to talk about that and his heroic efforts in the last moments of his life.
I think it's really important to mention, too, that the angry young man was a recent former graduate of the Newtown school system that was going back to the school that he had attended, to the very classrooms that he had sat in as a first grader. So he knew where the first graders were. He was looking for soft targets. He played video games. He knew the languaging. He shot the gun in the video games that he used, and shot his way through the glass doors. And this is after killing his mom at his house before he left. Went to the elementary school, shot his way through the glass doors, and made a left down the first grade hallway. His guidance counselor, actually, his actual guidance counselor, as well as my older son and Jesse's guidance counselor, along with the principal, walked out of a meeting room that they were having with another parent, and he shot them dead, and then he turned left into Jesse's classroom. And the students were scattered, and he continued shooting. He killed Jesse's teacher, who was standing right behind him, and then his gun either jammed or ran out of bullets. And during the short delay when he was changing his clip, Jesse yelled for his friends to run. And they credit his brave actions for saving their lives now. So 9 lives, which is really amazing. And then Adam, reloaded and then killed the rest of the people in that room, and then everyone, unfortunately, in the next classroom, until he heard approaching police sirens. And then he went back into the first classroom and killed himself. So it was a total of 20 first graders and 6 educators. and then 28, including Adam and his mom.
You're preparing for your son's funeral, and you're in your home, and everything at that point, the trajectory of your life is changed. And Jesse left you a message, and that changed your outlook. Tell me about that and how it was the catalyst for everything that we see today with Choose Love.
It's absolutely amazing because when something like that happens, your body goes into shock for survival. And I remember thinking, I wonder if I will survive this. So just to give you an idea of where I actually was. And I thought that I would never be able to go home to this little farmhouse that where I raised my 2 boys as a single mom. But I found myself having to get Jesse's clothes for him to wear in the casket. You never think about these things, right? And you shouldn't have to.
No.
So I went back home with a bunch of family members and got his clothes, was on my way out with my bundle, and I see these 3 words on our kitchen chalkboard: nurturing, healing, love. Phonetically spelled because he was in 1st grade and just learning to write. But I knew, seeing those, that if Adam Lanza, the former student, the shooter, had been able to give and receive nurturing, healing, love, the tragedy would never have happened. It's so simple. People who love themselves don't want to hurt themselves or other people. We know that hurt people hurt people. And I thought, wow, this is the solution. And so literally from that moment on, I have spent every day spreading that message of nurturing, healing, love, which is what we saw on the Bentonville Square, which is just so beautiful. It was just a perfect representation of it.
I want to talk about how this is implemented in the school system. We can talk about here locally, but it's in over 10,000 schools worldwide. It's no-cost curriculum. Tell me what the kids are learning and how they're learning it and how they're interacting with each other in the school environment.
So it's no-cost lifespan curriculum. So we start prenatally and we go all the way up to communities and businesses because it's based on a formula. And this formula helps you get in between what's happening in your life and your thoughtful response, and it helps you choose love. And of course, that is the more powerful response than reacting in anger and hatred and revenge. When you do that, you're not in control. Your survival brain is in control. And we want to be working from our prefrontal cortex, which is the newest part of our brain. It's what differentiates us from animals, that we can actually choose in every situation, circumstance, or interaction how we thoughtfully respond. And we can use this wonderful, we call human brain. We teach neuroscience along with this. So there are a series of lessons all within the framework of this powerful formula. We teach social and emotional learning. We teach growth mindset, neuroscience, positive psychology, mindfulness, all on a base of post-traumatic growth. And post-traumatic growth is research showing that when we go through difficulty, we have the capacity to grow. And I say this is actually how we're created, to grow through difficulty. It gets our attention. We have to make changes, and hopefully we have some skills and tools that they are positive changes. And then we are more prepared when the next challenge comes along in our lives. We can either be taken down by hurt and pain, or we can learn from it, grow through it, and be strengthened by it. And of course, we know that as human beings, we all want to love and be loved. And without love, we suffer. But we all also feel hurt and pain. And we know that our kids are going to feel hurt and pain, and we don't want them to. And we may do everything that we can to keep them from that. But we know at some point they're going to. So it is really our responsibility to fortify them with the skills and tools they need to take that pain and learn from it. And then hopefully use that wisdom from that learned experience to help other people.
I wish everyone could experience sitting next to you because you're just a wonderful, positive presence. And I thank you for sitting down with us today. We're going to share all the resources, link to all of it so that everyone watching can access all the free curriculum. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.